Okay. Okay, so I did promise myself this, and I'm happy to try here. So I did promise myself to try to make a video every week. This is the second video. My first video was very successful so far. 0 views in a whole week. Doing very strong. But as of right now, there's a minor sense of urgency to this idea of being an artist right now. It's time to collect,
incredibly privileged.
reflect, and think about the life that I wanted to live. That's what my first video was about. Today, moving into the second week of the Artist Way, I am now starting to think about all the things that are keeping me creating and what are the things that were limiting me from creating. And for so long, it was my job. And so next Monday, just tomorrow, I'm going to be going back to the usual grind. And with that, there comes a little bit of fear and anxiety, especially since that I just made this grand plan to change my entire life last week, right? Or at least started initiating some type of these changes. And since that I made that first video, there's like so many things I already created. I started making a song, and I finished a song, and it was a silly song but was the one that really was a song that I always wanted to make, where I would take a lot of the voicemails that were vindictive from my mother and make them into a song. And so the song was pretty fun. I try to make another track off that, and I'm still almost finished with that. And I've been doing my morning pages every single day, even when I'm tempted with sleeping and ignoring my meditations. I've just been going out every single day, waking up. Even if I'm late, I just do it, just straight out do it. And so there's been a lot of growth. Like I said, I've completed a song. I am taking pictures like crazy right now. So I actually shut up the shot a little bit so I can at least show off some of my cameras, and it's very funny because I feel like the shot still looks ugly, and I'm going to be talking about my passion of photography. But so far, I really feel like I'm getting closer and closer to mastering what in the hell I thought photography is and what I want it to be. I'm a fan of the surrealists. Not only a fan, I am a surrealist. I like to think that I move based upon intuition, and I love art that uses intuition as its primary means of inspiration and means of being medium of presentation, I suppose. Dreams, intuition, spirit, soul, manifesting, all of these things are to me intimately important with photography. The way that I take pictures is I just like going out and seeing what the universe can provide for me. And for so long, that's what I did for a very long time. I just took pictures just because I seen something absurd, or it seemed like a coincidence or something like that, right? And so now I'm just doing that basically with the intention of actually also taking pictures of people and bring them all together. So it's been a experience. I started this journey about 4 or 5 months ago, with this camera, this plastic Holga. Well, it was not this one specifically. It was my girlfriend's that did not have the flash. It was not the GCFN. It was just the Holga 120, I guess. I don't know what the rest of the model name is. But that Holga was pretty inspirational because I fell in love with the large format. I love the simplicity of a camera where I just hit one button, like I just hit that and then I take a picture. And the thing that I loved about this camera was that it felt cheap, and so it didn't feel complicated. I didn't feel like I was going through I had to go through a college class to really make a good picture. I just felt like, oh, okay, well, I'm literally doing an experiment with what would be a toy camera, and it was enjoyable. And moving on from there, I had a really positive experience. Some of the pictures really came out strangely, strikingly clear and beautiful. I took some pictures of a close friend of mine. I don't know what to call her any longer. And she looks so gorgeous. Somehow with black and white, this camera is truly magical. But with that, my addiction to making these images is more than the budget that I have available. So, I mean, I'm not a person who is completely pretty close friends with credit cards and debt and banks, unfortunately. So I've been trying to find out another way to get that black and white look that is somewhat cheap but also very clear and smooth. I don't know other way to describe it. Film has like film and a lot of glass lenses have a very specific way of transferring like a mood. I don't know how to describe it since I am very new to photography. That this camera does really well. That has like that softness. But then same thing with this point and shoot. This one gets a little bit harsher. Like the blacks come out really deep, dark black points. Using the same film nearly, or at least the same film company, Ilford, HP, whatever, plus 400, right? But I've been farting around with this Kodak, and this Kodak has really changed the entirety of the way that I shoot and the way that I actually think about making pictures now. And it's funny because this is a camera that has been in my family for over 10 years. I found some really interesting and cringeworthy pictures on here from me in high school, and I don't even recognize myself. But this is just kind of like showing how like this is a camera that followed me through every intimate experience in my life, positive or negative. So a lot of negativity, let me just say that. But with that, it's kind of cool because now I'm able to kind of re-educate and change the way and the meaning behind this camera. And the one thing that I didn't really initially understand about cameras, and specifically digital cameras, was that I always felt when I use a digital camera, I just press the button and it goes. And the images are usually awful. They have a certain flatness to it. It feels so cheap, and it's not anything that I would want to look at beyond just like, oh yeah, that moment happened. It's almost like these cheap digital cameras back then, for me, the way that I thought they were supposed to be shot was just like, okay, you're making a disposable moment. Yeah, you went to a graduation. You're probably gonna look at those pictures like later on, but and they'll come to you much later, and the emotional impact matters more than the actual image quality. So, you're gonna compensate for that. But it always looks so terrible, like the way that it's grainy in a different way. It's like this like red fuzz on everything. I think they call it noise. But when I messed around with the ISOs on here. I was strangely surprised, right? I was really just trying to get a spark or doing something, bored in my apartment. I just started shooting outside my window, and I was just absolutely surprised by it. Like, the quality is clearly, you still have that noise, the noise that I actually quite enjoy sometimes. And then also I still also have like a really not very good quality image. But once you put it in black and white, it's like a completely different level of experience. Like, I don't know. I've always wanted to have that, like, there's a movie called The Begotten. It's a pretty awful movie. I would never recommend anyone to watch. But that movie has like a specific quality, primarily because it looks so bad. It has like this graininess, and it's scary. It's a scary film because of that. I've shown it to my brother's wife, and she seriously started questioning me as an individual. It's totally fine. Sorry, let me just finish. I'm just trying to take a really good picture of me doing this, right? So this has been part of like the process, though. It's like I get started doing something, and I'm like, what would be really sick if I get a picture of this? And that's not a good one. One of the things I love right now is just taking pictures of seemingly banal things, but really trying really hard to make them high art. And so that's basically what I've been doing the past few days. Really engaging with a medium in a way that is playful, that I never really used to do. This is something that I feel like is kind of new for me. I never used to have this like exuberant energy to just try and just move around. But that's the thing that I need. I need some time to just do something. Okay? And that was a good one, I think. Yeah, let's just keep it there. So this camera just allows me just to do things, right? The Holga, I used to shoot it like that, and the image quality is just all over the place. And I think it's because I don't see how the image is smeared that I think, okay, sick, that was a great image, let's move on. And I think I always feel like the shutter speed and everything, I don't even think about how that transfers onto film. I just think, okay, I got the fucking picture. We got it. I'm gonna be in the Getty soon, guys, right? But it usually works that easy. This really had changed the way I'm shooting. I'm gonna show some of the images in the video that I'm not sure when I'll be able to edit, but I will show some images because I really do think that the shit I'm on right now, I changed the whole game, at least for myself. I feel like I'm graduating to another level of artistry, and it's so strange like saying this because I feel so pretentious saying it, but I literally feel like, I'm on the edge of something that's very great. And I'm not saying that with the delusions of grandeur. It's just as a person who is aesthetically inclined in a lot of ways and cares and really believes in art, and who's been stifled for over decades, actually feeling like I'm producing something I enjoy, which is not something I frequently feel, is life-changing. Which puts me into this other position right now where I'm going back to work. Okay. So I have a complicated relationship with my job. I very much enjoy the people I work with. Most of the time just enjoy doing the job. The preparation for the job, all that is very much a burden though, and it's so time consuming. And I'm a person who gets very anxious really easily, and there's a lot of rules in this job that are in place because I'm in a very litigious type of situation, a situation that can become very litigious very quickly, and I'm in an environment where contention is guaranteed nearly, and even if I walk in with an attitude of manifesting an idea of everything's going to be good, sometimes the unexpected literally happens, and then the unexpected becomes the ruin of a day, a week, a month, a whole year. And I'm not trying to let that door open the same way I have done in the past. And what I'm doing to make that major change, to me, is just doing this work. Developing these skills. I'm looking for a certainty that I have a creative way out and a potential alternative employer and alternative labor source or revenue source. I think really right now I'm going through probably the most important part of my life, right? I'm 30 now, and I'm going to be 31 very, very soon. And moving into that 31 area, I feel like for so long in my 20s, I didn't really think that I went through a coming of age change in my life. Graduating from college didn't really seem like it came with a whimper, not a bang. And then it felt like all this pressure came without discipline. And when all the pressure came without the discipline, then I started feeling like I needed to retreat, and then it came with chemical engagements and chemical interactions, and then along with that came these feelings of inferiority that I needed to get over. And once I semi-conquered them, I was encountered with the fact that I'm not doing the thing that I want to do, right? And so now that I'm going back to doing something that I don't necessarily have a passion for or want to do, but I do need money, and now that I have a thing that I want to do and requires money, I'm in a place where if I maintain my development in the way that I'm thinking, in the way that I'm moving and interacting with myself and the rest of the world, I'm going to be living a semi-comfortable life with a lot of with small interruptions. And there's been these points in my life where I really can clearly feel like the movie's changing, if you know what I mean. Like since I was young, when I was I think I was in middle school, and there was a moment where I was walking to the library with my class, where it all just made sense. Oh, I'm living a movie. This is a movie. And then because of that, I also recognize that I'm playing a role, and I can choose that role, and I can choose the benefits of that role, but that role also comes with some negatives, right? And I think right now the role that I've been playing had so many benefits. I have a job, right? I have income. I'm living in downtown LA, the place I always wanted to live in some way, shape, or form. I am in a pretty nice one-bedroom apartment. I have a hobby. I have friends who care about me. I'm literally living a life that has a lot of benefits. But in that is that, just like in an indie movie where the character never really achieved their real dream job, there's like a melancholy filter over the whole thing, right? There's like this feeling where there's this lack of saturation in color, and right now I'm starting to see the color because I'm shooting. It feels. I might be attributing a lot to this. I might be attributing too much, but I just feel just genuinely amazing right now, and I'm trying to keep my spirits high, because moving forward to tomorrow, I know I have to wake up early. I'm going to start my day in a new environment, entirely new environment. Well, it's the same environment with different outcomes and subjects. And I'm trying out a new schedule. I'm trying out a new way of being and existing in a group setting. And we'll see how it works out, Maybe I'm going to do a first day back type of vlog without letting you know what my job is or something. Because there's some shit that I know is going to be happening very soon within this job that is going to come to an interesting effect in my life, in the way that I am moving around this art that I'm trying to perfect. So this was just supposed to be like a check-in real quick about how I've been doing, and I do think that there's a sense of mastery that I'm starting to feel, and from that mastery is a sense of pride that I've made the decision to follow what I want to do. But within that decision is also this commingling of I'm juggling two different roles now. I'm juggling two different personalities now. I'm jumping out of being the miserable worker who comes home and tries to live in an intoxicated la land, to now being a person who is comfortable being alone and creating in that aloneness. I think that's like the one last thing I really wanted to kind of hone in on here, is that years ago I went to this thing about James Baldwin at the Skirball Center, where I think Jussie Smollett sang it, but it was great. It's Jussie Smollett sang, and he then immediately left. He came in late and he left exactly pretty early into the ceremony, and it was supposed to be just like a thing just talking about the legacy and the strength of James Baldwin and where he came from and what his how he created his work. I think actually Robin, Alex, I forgot her whole name. She wrote the Voyage of the Sable Venus. She was there and she did a reading and she talked about James Baldwin. But in that thing, they were talking about how James Baldwin seen writing as a practice of being alone and accepting your aloneness and then creating out of that aloneness the tenderness that you want or crave in the world in a way. And in a lot of ways that idea has really been scary for me. I thought it was empowering at first, but when I really sat down and journaled about it and really thought about it and tried to move in that way, I really quickly began to think that James Baldwin is basically warning you as a writer, as an artist, as a person who requires deep time for reflection and consideration, that what you are doing may be a part of your community, but you are also apart from your community. If that makes sense, Try to do a little Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. But like I'm saying, you're a part of your community, but you are a part of your community. You are far away from it, and you are speaking from a distance, but also within it. And but the distance and the amount of time that you reside in that distance can be really plaguing, right? It's been said that obviously artists are known for substance abuse, and one of that reason is possibly because they're trying to cope with the amount of times where they're in their confinement trying to reason out what life is or what their next inspiration is. Being the vessel for God and every single divine thing is difficult. Obviously, I'm thinking of the visionary poets that I very much love and appreciate, like Arthur Rimbaud, who was featured very prominently in my last video, or even just a person like Dembozo Murachera, who was a Zimbabwean writer that was so radically anti-colonial, anti-racist, anti-everything, to the point that he was anti. And that's what is so amazing about him. But it was clear that the man was just a lightning rod of inspiration, but it destroyed his life. The man was what people would definitely say is a social outcast. So dealing with all these biographies about people who are outcasts, people who are outside of society, outside of history, but also speaking for a whole zeitgeist, there's a lot of around that myth, right? Where you want to be, there's always kind of that, I don't think excuse me. Everyone operates the same way that they did in high school in any and everything they do, right? So, if you were the kid who was creative, but you felt like everyone did not appreciate you, once you're 30, you're 25, whatever, 40, 50 even, you're still going to think that no one appreciates your gifts and your skills, even when you're probably well established, right? So, when someone goes about talking and acting as if the things that they are achieving are not fully understood, then they're only really operating off of a really high school like comprehension of their own lives and other people's lives. And I think that's all artists, right? They always feel like they're all artists because there's so much time alone that we create intimate interactions with the things we make, that once it's brought to the public, then their interpretation is never going to be the same as mine. I'm sure that my pictures later on will be interpreted completely different from what I originally wanted them to be. And when they have been recently, there is a kind of like defensiveness to it because it's my child in a way. But all this is just to say that being an artist is kind of you're accepting loneliness in an intimate way that has been and always will be scary. But from that sacrifice, there is a kind of spiritual fulfillment that, like I said before, is akin to being like a shaman, something like where you're a channel for spiritual beings. There's something about that I think really is governing my whole experience right now, where it kind of, in a lot of ways, I just feel like I'm being guided through my development. And I feel so internally grateful for it. I almost feel like I can cry about it because I feel very comfortable. So even though I feel massively uncomfortable about tomorrow, I feel massively comfortable with what I know I will do and have to do in the morning with my morning pages. How intimately I feel about creating those moments where I am literally creating. There's just so much that I feel so internally grateful for. All this is coming at a cost, but it's a cost that I'm willing to pay, right? Debt, debit, credit, any and all means doesn't matter unless if I can get to some type of fulfillment. At least that's what it feels like right now, right? I'm not on the street, so hopefully I never will ever experience that. But I really do feel right now that I'm really actually going to be able to. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be known. I know. Taking the time to really talk like this, I'm gonna cut this off in about like 5 more minutes. Taking the time to consider all the things I just said about I'm gonna be remembered, all this. So much anxiety, fear goes into my work, my existence. And I think with the anxiety of just being an artist in general, I am very much putting myself at sacrifice. But at the same time, it also is... Okay, I guess this is really it. Tied with trying to be an artist is also this feeling that there's nothing that I say is worthy of praise or admiration. That is something I don't even know where it came from. It seems like it snuck into my brain. It's maintained its resonance there. But that idea created the fear that I just mentioned earlier about how I know I'm going to be remembered. That's my everything in life. Like, my name is Lily Starlin. I want to be known. I want to be established in some way, shape, or form as someone who's great, because I know that I do great things, and I've trained myself to be great. But I feel, even just saying these things, I feel so unhumble that it kind of feels a little bit uncomfortable to say. Yet, within that, me saying that, I do feel like there's a certainty that has just only recently developed in the last 2 to 3 weeks, where I know I'm going to be shepherded into a better life than I actually am currently living. And through that belief, I'm so damn grateful, but I'm also seeing the wounded child who feels unacknowledged, uncared for. And I know, that the thing I want is the feedback and knowledge that I am doing great things. And I really hope, and I put faith that when that time comes where I feel, when the success happens, I'm actually going to feel it. I'm not going to distance myself from it, because literally the feeling I have right now, I have never had. I don't want to say never. I have not had for such a sustained amount of time this feeling of certainty, this feeling that I'm on a track where great things are happening to me, for me, and will happen for others that I love and appreciate through me. I do feel there is a huge shift. I recognize that with that, though, there will be some pain, there's going to be a little bit of sorrow, but if this certainty I'm feeling is the type of shit that makes a Westboro Baptist go out and hold a sign, this is the type of certainty that makes a Augusta stopping a paramilitary officer, right? That this is like the certainty that I have, and this is a certainty I've been waiting for, that would slip in and make me do something. But I'm finding out it's just through the openness and understanding that what I'm doing matters is the thing that makes anything that I'm thinking and doing so much more powerful. Because I know it can resonate. Because if it resonates with me, then it resonates with other people. I feared that. I didn't believe it. Now I do actually believe it. And I'm staring at a crucifix right now. So kind of funny hearing. But I feel very much like I've been impressed with a feeling of infinite possibilities, and I know tomorrow will not end that, and I'm not going to allow it to end it. Okay, so I'm going to end this broadcast. Thank you very much. Please, I'm not sure who's going to be watching and listening and subscribing. I don't think I've ever sent my last video to anyone. I will do so, send it to my folks, my friends, so they can check it out. But beyond that, I just want to just say that I really feel grateful for anyone who will watch this and will enjoy this. And I really hope that if there is someone watching this, that they can comment, talk. I want to touch base and create that community so I don't feel so out of touch with reality. I'm in such a weird space right now where I'm really finding inspiration with doing things that I never specialized in or never thought I was going to be specialized in, right? And so I want to hear from people who are doing things that they're feeling inspired by so I can feel inspired. And if there's anyone who listens to this video and listened to all 20 minutes of it and you felt like, oh yeah, he understands what I'm talking about with being alone. He understands the reason why I feel blocked creatively. He understands all those things. Please, I would love to have a relationship with anyone, or excuse me, let's not say that. I would love to have some conversations, create a community where other people, we can share in each other's success, right? I started this YouTube channel with the idea of making a video diary for myself, and then sharing this video diary with others so they can be inspired to make their own and create a community of people who are well aware of each other's work and wants to support each other. So it would be awesome if we can do some type of meetups or whatever. I mean, that's obviously so far in the future, but I just love and appreciate anyone who would watch this, subscribe, talk to me, comment. Alright, I went like extra 2 minutes over just because, so I'm out.